You probably know someone who was brilliant in school, perfect grades, aced every test, but somehow struggles in the real world. Meanwhile, the average student from the back of the class goes on to build a massive company or lead a team. For decades, we were handed a script that said your IQ, your raw brain power, is your destiny. If you are smart, you win. But that is only half the story. The true factor separating those who thrive from those who get stuck is something called emotional intelligence, or EQ. Think of your brain like a car. Having a high IQ gives you a massive, powerful engine. But a massive engine means nothing if you lose the ability to steer the vehicle the second the road gets slippery. To understand how this works, imagine your mind is a car equipped with two steering wheels, and sitting up front are two very different drivers. Driver 1 is your thinking brain. This is your logic. It is analytical and great at planning, but it takes its time to process information. Driver 2 is your feeling brain. This is your emotion. It is incredibly fast, deeply passionate, and reacts on pure instinct. Most of the time, these two drivers share the road peacefully, but the moment you face a stressful situation, like a harsh criticism or a sudden crisis, they start fighting for control. A lack of emotional intelligence happens when that feeling brain panics, shoves logic out of the driver's seat, and floors the gas pedal. Deep inside your head, you have an ancient alarm system. The second you feel threatened, this alarm goes off. This diagram illustrates an emotional hijack. Usually, visual signals travel to the brain's visual cortex for calm processing. But notice this shortcut arrow. In emergencies, the signal bypasses the thinking brain, going straight to your alarm center, triggering an instant reaction. This is what happens when you send a furious text message or yell at a partner, only to deeply regret it 5 minutes later. In the moment of a hijack, you literally lose access to your IQ. Your smart driver is locked in the trunk. For hundreds of thousands of years, this instant reaction was necessary. It made early humans freeze or drop into a crouch when they sensed a predator, saving them from immediate physical danger. While human civilization has advanced at a staggering pace, our biological emotional hardware has remained the same for 50,000 years. Your internal alarm system is a blunt tool. It cannot tell the difference between a physical threat to your life and a social threat to your ego. A frustrating email from your boss now triggers the exact same biological response as a tiger attack. Our prehistoric instincts are constantly trying to handle modern problems, and if we don't manage them, they will sabotage our careers and our lives. EQ is not about hiding your feelings. It is about actively training your two drivers to communicate. The first tool for this is the 3-second rule. When the alarm rings and you feel a surge of anger or panic, intentionally wait 3 full seconds before you speak or act. 3 seconds is the exact amount of time your slower, thinking brain needs to process the threat and get back into the front seat. This tiny, intentional pause is the difference between a career-ending mistake and a measured, rational response. If the emotion has already taken hold, use a second tool. Name it to tame it. Explicitly state the emotion out loud or in your head. I feel anxious, or I am angry. Forcing your brain to find a specific word to describe how you feel physically shifts electrical power away from the panic center and back to the parts of your brain that handle logic. You can also use this during an argument. Listen solely to understand what the other person is saying, rather than planning your own defense. This stops the emotional escalation on both sides. Identifying the emotion strips it of its power. You realize you are not the anger, you are the driver observing it. Our emotions are essential because they guide our passions and our values, but they must be managed with intelligence. Aristotle once noted that anyone can get angry, but being angry at the right person, to the right degree, and at the right time is a skill that requires immense practice. IQ gets your foot in the door and gets you the interview, but EQ determines how high you climb and how happy you are. Knowing how to steer your own mind is the ultimate competitive advantage in a world where everyone else is driven by blind impulse.